Speaker McCarthy gets ousted in the House of Representatives. That's right, we're going to have a new speaker, possibly a pro-disclosure speaker. Who knows? But we have that and a whole bunch more to talk about. So get in here. This is Jack with Guy McRoad. It's time for another UFO News Roundup. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, please share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Oh, and if you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, please consider becoming a channel member. See the first link in the description below. I am packing right now on the way to go to Italy, but I wanted to bring you some UFO news. And that is, of course, leading with Matt Gaetz was successful in his bid to get rid of Speaker McCarthy, who is definitely seems to be, based on what we currently know, to be an enemy, whether overtly or otherwise, of UFO disclosure and any sort of transparency. Matt Gaetz is very pro-transparency and pro-disclosure based on what we've seen so far. Obviously, time will tell. And we don't know who's going to be the new speaker as of the time of this recording. So, we can only hope that a pro-disclosure speaker gets installed, and that may ultimately lead to the creation of the UFO Select Committee, which I view as extremely important, in some ways just as important as the Schumer-Rounds Amendment. Now, the Schumer-Rounds Amendment, if it's passed in a robust fashion, could actually allow Congress to get their hands on a UFO. And that's pretty huge. It's not going to get much bigger than that if that actually happens. But, I have doubts. It's hard to imagine that actually happening. But that possibility is amazing. And but the select committee would have subpoena power and would be able to compel witnesses to come forward and speak openly. Some of them likely in a public setting, because this is going to be a select committee under the public purview. So I think that's huge. That could be really a game changer. I really hope the select committee comes into being, and staffed by people like Tim Burchett and others. Fingers crossed that happens, and that we get a pro-disclosure guy installed as the Speaker of the House. The article, of course, New York Times is taking this far-right, narrative. Far-right GOP faction throws House into chaos as McCarthy is ousted. Is Matt Gaetz far-right? I don't know. As far as I can tell, to getting into the politics of it, this is not a political channel. I'm not going to go on a super huge rant about politics. But I do see that McCarthy is very much an establishment Republican, and I am a very anti-establishment person. I view the centralization of power as the greatest threat to human freedom, whether it's on the right or the left. And I think that the establishment in recent years has gotten very swampy and is definitely not an advocate of human freedom. And so, McCarthy, as far as I'm concerned, he can, the door can't be slammed in his face fast enough for my taste. If Matt Gaetz is more anti-establishment, or Tim Burchett, as they seem to be, then, they have my blessing. Absolutely. I hope they're able to reform the establishment or to kick its butt and send it packing. So anyway, that's my take on that, and that would apply right or left. I like RFK Jr. I think he could do some similar sorts of things on the left. So let's make that happen. Get rid of the establishment. That's my political rant for the day. Okay, this may or may not be UFO related news, brought to us by Bright Insight. A great side-by-side comparison of structure in Cambodia and a structure in Guatemala. Shockingly similar, right? Definite proof of Atlantis, if you ask me. And of course, when I say Atlantis, I don't just mean the actual literal Atlantis, but I mean an ancient high civilization that may or may not have been connected to UFO beings, that was a global civilization, or at least had a global reach. They had missionaries or diplomats or whoever, like potentially Quetzalcoatl, that went all over the world and spread their culture in ways, and potentially things like this could be proof of that. Now, I kind of hope not, because I think the human sacrifice may have been carried out at least one of these places. So, but it's interesting, and it is hard to ignore the evidence that there could be an ancient lost civilization that had global reach and a very high degree of technology. Here's another one: Cambodia and Central America. Shockingly similar. Shockingly similar. Meanwhile, from a tweet by Ross Coulthart, why would Canada's nuclear regulator not want the public to know about UAPs sighted near their nuclear power plants? Surely this kind of secrecy is plain stupid, especially when there are solid precedents in favor of release. More good work from this person, Daniel Otis, who says, there are 2 nuclear power plants near Toronto. Operator OPG holds UFO reports but refused to release them through my FOIA request. I now have a lawyer in my corner and I won't give up. The law is clear. Redact and release. More details soon. So apparently there's some UFO sightings around nuclear facilities, which of course we knew all along, but they are trying to FOIA these documents from the facilities themselves, and they are playing mum. So really interesting. I mean, we know they're there. Why hide this stuff from us? Great reporting, Ross and Daniel. Meanwhile, Christopher Mellon has a really interesting tweet. This new article recounts an intriguing but little known, within the U.S. at least, UAP incident that occurred in Brazil in 1986. Radars in 4 Brazilian states tracked multiple UAP, and hundreds of military and civilian personnel saw them from the ground. However, they eluded intercept attempts by multiple fighter aircraft from the Brazilian Air Force. All right, let's check out the English version. No, I don't want any of those. Reports on the more than 70 UAP objects investigated by the Air Force for more than 60 years are available at the National Archives. Well, very good, very good. What is going on in Brazil? And this is from that reporter. One day in May of 1986, the head of the Brazilian Air Force, Lieutenant General Lima, summoned the press to Brasilia, the capital. He gave them a briefing about the extraordinary events that had occurred the previous Monday. The most famous UFO-related incident was what occurred on that Monday in 1986 when 21 UFOs invaded Brazilian airspace. What? It entered the history of ufology as the official night of the UFOs. The military's subsequent report, in a dry tone, concluded the following about the hours that shocked the country. The phenomena are solid and reflect in some ways intelligence, due to the ability of the objects to maintain distance from observers as well as to fly in formation, although they are not necessarily manned. The first to detect these luminous dots was an air traffic controller. Then it goes on with the story, and I'll link to the article and you can read it at your leisure. But that's crazy. 21 UFOs invaded Brazilian airspace. There's so much activity going on in South America right now. And of course, this is historical. This has been going on for a long time, hundreds, thousands of years. The people of south of the border, Mexico and South America, have had a strong interaction with the phenomenon. Why that is remains a mystery. There's a lot of speculation about it. Also, of course, the North American Indians also have a strong connection to the phenomenon as well. Very, very interesting. I would love to know the truth about their connection. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Sadly, that connection is not always positive, and I hate to report on something like this, but in the recent murder in Peru, the same markings are seen in other mutilation cases. And I'm not going to link to the article. It's gory. But yeah, disturbing news in Peru. A 19-year-old boy named Dilbert Gonzalez Yambato has been found mutilated near a river in Nene Valley. And I'm not, yeah, they claim illegal miners have done this. The skull has been exposed. Yeah, yeah, illegal miners probably didn't do that. So just horrifying news. Whatever is going on in Peru, the alien attacks in Peru may indeed have claimed a victim. Obviously, that is just conjecture at this point, but the body does show signs of mutilation. Where are the authorities? Where's the military? What is going on there? Why is nobody stepping in to help these people? I know that some journalists are starting to get interested in this story, and people like James Fox are going down there, at least to the Nazca area. I don't know if he's going to go to Peru to see what's going on there, but at least some people are taking an interest in what's going on in South America, and I hope they are able to get some details and some truth to us. But even more than that, we need somebody to actually go and help these people. Because they are still suffering, apparently, although we don't really have a lot of information. Unfortunately, the control group seems to have stepped in and put a news lockdown on what's going on there. And ever since that happened, reports have been few and far between, but they are still coming out, and hopefully the truth will come out with it. Meanwhile, Danny Sheehan and Steve Bassett were asked about legacy UFO programs that had been hidden even from them until now. And this is a really, really intriguing question and answer. So let's listen.
How many UFO programs have now been identified? That might be one for you, Steve.
Well, I would tell you this, that once I became legal counsel for Lou Elizondo, I was surprised to discover that there were a number of these programs that I'd never even heard about. And I've been at this since 1977. I've been at this for like 46 years now. And I didn't know that these groups existed. But in the statute that we have right now, there are 18 different intelligence agencies that are charged with responsibility for turning over the information that they have on UFOs. Okay, and so that I would suggest right now that there's 18 different entire departments or agencies inside the United States government that have these programs. Now, a lot of these programs are what they call unacknowledged special access programs, and the unacknowledged special access programs could be each of these 18 intelligence agencies could have multiple programs inside them that are dealing with different aspects of the UFO and ET question. So that my sense is there are literally there are dozens of these programs that have been compartmentalized that we have to open up and extract the information from them and get them into the hands of the Senate and House Intelligence Committees.
Thank you. Steve, how many programs? Which ones do you know about?
I would be shocked if we knew 5% of the programs. My question would be, which of our underground facilities has the most number of levels? We're going to learn things over the next year and a half that are going to be quite stunning. And I'm looking forward to that. Only.
Me too, Steve. Me too. The truth is coming out. We are identifying the players in the government that are part of this, part of the opposition. That's coming out week by week. We're able to identify people that are allied with the control group or under the sway of the tech companies and de facto allies of the control group. So so the enemies are coming into focus, and legislation is being passed, and potentially the tide is turning, and we are going to unearth these secrets. But as you've heard Danny Sheehan just say, there are 18 intelligence agencies that are thought to perhaps have the goods on UFOs and maybe have their own UFO programs, or even, as he says, multiple UFO programs. How big is the control group? Richard Dolan calls it a breakaway civilization. And he may not be wrong in that. It may be huge. It may be huge, guys. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, please consider becoming a channel member. See the first link in the description below. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos to check out on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.